At the moment, we have about 40 projects. In January, we're looking at about $24,000. It's not only that I'm very new to the AI agency space, it's actually the first proper business that I've started. So this is like my first venture.
Today, we're joined by Michael, another network member who has currently scaled his agency up to over $24,000 within his first 2 months. Now, I'm super excited about this interview in particular because Michael dives into a framework and a strategy that I've been talking about for a long time on this channel. And I know it's going to help so many of you in 2024 start to make money with your AI automation agency. Michael literally gives you his entire strategy, everything that's working for him. If you watch this video, you will walk away and have it all for yourself. So without further ado, let's jump into the interview. Michael, we got the man himself. Welcome to the channel, my friend. And I'm so excited to have a chat with you today. You've been killing it. And every time I chat to you on Discord, I'm just like, holy shit, I cannot wait to get this guy on for a pod. And here we are. What's been going on?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Liam. I'm very excited to chat today and to share some of the things that we've been working on in the last 2 months. Yeah, so thank you very much for having me on here, man.
Oh, you're more than welcome. I'm super excited to have you. How old are you, Michael? Just for everyone that's watching.
23.
23. Okay, at 23, I was down the nightclubs, partying, drinking my life away. But yourself, you are just like on form. Every time I speak to you, every time I see you in the chat, everyone that I speak to who has spoken to you, they're like, this guy's on another level. You know, like the whole network team are kind of in awe of you at the moment. And they're like, yeah, this guy means business. So yeah, like run me through it, man. What's the day-to-day looking like right now? Obviously, you started your agency a few months ago. How busy have you got in that time frame?
Weirdly enough, I think in December, it's the time where a lot of businesses tend to slow down. We've done the exact opposite. It's actually everything is ramped up exponentially in December. That's because we are doing a launch next year. We're doing a massive launch with a company that I was speaking about within the agency network. We have a whole bunch of prototypes that we're busy building at the moment. We have about 40, 50 prototypes that we've been outsourcing within the network. So I've been in a lot of conversations with a lot of people within the network and finding out what particular niches that they're in, whether it's real estate or it's banks, financial, insurance. We have a whole waiting list. We're getting a number of leads that are being driven through every single week. And I've just been distributing that out throughout the network. And so, yeah, at the moment, we have about 40 projects put together. And it's quite busy because I've had to, when we got all of the leads, we had to have interviews and I had to speak to everyone in the agency, qualify them. And now we've been sitting in probably about 5-6 meetings every single day, speaking to the agencies, giving them briefs. They've been sending me prototypes, sending me Loom recordings, and we've sort of been working on them and building out landing pages so that next year in January, when we do the full launch, we'll have all of the landing pages and everything built and ready. And then we can start and go 100% at it. So this whole month has been a lot more preparation for next year. We sort of slowed down a little bit on helping specific clients and acquiring new clients. We've sort of just been looking at preparing for next year, because next year, 2024, is going to be quite the year for the network, and I think for a lot of AI agencies.
That's smart. I mean, like, you're taking it step by step, and you're ensuring, we had a little discussion just before this official recording, and it's like, you've already said that you're taking a step back to ensure that the quality of service that you are delivering is actually up to point, right? And like, the last thing you want to do is just burn through clients, and especially the partnerships that you've been building. You don't want to throw them out. You want to keep them as close to you as possible and as happy as possible, because you know how fruitful they're going to be over the coming years, right?
Exactly. It's been a bigger focus on service delivery, like delivering a high quality of service to a lot of our clients. So the last time that we spoke, when we had signed those 8 e-commerce clients, we've actually postponed. They're busy running live on all of their websites, but we're just building case studies and testimonials at the moment, because we found that between all of the work that we were doing now in preparation for next year, as well as building the e-commerce agents and servicing our other clients, we were being stretched a little bit too thin. So we decided to take it a step back and actually have a lot of our clients, a lot of the e-commerce clients especially, have the agents operating on their websites for free for now. And so then in January, once we have them fully fledged out, because I've assigned 2 of our staff members, 2 of our devs, to building up those e-commerce bots to be up to par, up to standard. And so in January, we plan on rolling those out a little bit more. And just providing a high quality of service, because at the end of the day, we want to be providing the highest quality of service to all of our clients. Otherwise, you just have big issues in terms of reputation and churn. So yeah, that's been the biggest focus this month. It's been a hectic
Smart,
month.
man. Yeah, I can imagine. Michael, I mean, what would be really helpful for us to run through, I think, is just to give an overview of, what has happened over the last few months, what got you into the agency model as a whole, and, how you just in general feel about the new successes that you come into, because that's a big shift, right? If I know where you was before, this is kind of like your first venture into the AI space. And it's like, you've gone from 0 to 100 really fast. So there must have been a mindset shift that you've gone through. How do you feel about all of it?
I think it's also been quite an incredible journey for me the last few months, because this is not only it's not only that I'm very new to the AI agency space, it's actually the first proper business that I've started. So this is like my first venture, which has been a little bit of a wild story. I think what has definitely helped me in my case is that I'm lucky to come from an entrepreneurial background. My family is very entrepreneurial. And beforehand, my father is very, very connected with a lot of very high-end blue chip organizations. And so I think a lot of the success, it's come down to who you know and not necessarily what you know. And so I've been incredibly blessed. I think I've had a lot of mentors over the last few months. I think it's something very important, especially for people who are starting out, to find someone where you can learn all of the information without obtaining the scars at the same time. So over the last few months, especially through a lot of learning, and especially Alex Hormozi, I think Alex Hormozi is someone who we cherish very much in the agency space, but just learning from him as much as possible and actually applying everything that he gives. I've applied everything that he talks about within us $100 million offers and $100 million leads, and applied it into the company. And it's actually very strange that when you actually start to apply some of those things, it really works. I mean, he's already built up all the systems that work. And I've been just leveraging everything that I already knew from my past experiences, as well as learning stuff from Alex Hormozi and my other mentors who have guided me through this journey. So I think I pay a lot of my success in the last 2 months to the journey and to the network. I think the network's been something I think a lot of agency owners, especially people who are starting out, should definitely join. I think coming into a community, I mean, if you're somebody who's unlike me, who didn't have mentors and didn't have a background, it's very good to get into a community, especially with people who are doing exactly what you want to do. If you come into the agency space and you go onto something like the network, there's tons of people there. I've learned so much through my conversations, through everybody within the network and the masterclasses that we've hopped on. It's actually incredible the amount that you can learn instead of just doing it all on your own, and a lot of people being prideful and think, you can't do business by yourself. You won't get success nearly as fast. So I think definitely through mentors and through leveraging the network, that's what has significantly helped me boost my agency.
Amazing, man. Yeah, I like what you said about avoiding the scars, right? Like getting through the hard stuff without having to obtain those scars. And it's so true, because when I was first starting, it's like that having that like circle of people that you can just speak to and trust and just bounce ideas around from is invaluable. All I had was myself, and it's like I would have saved myself so much heartache and saved myself so much wasted money that I just burnt, basically, because I didn't have the network to speak to. So yeah, amazing stuff, man. I mean, can you give us a run through of what those successes look like monetarily, like some numbers? I know when we first spoke, you had some really good setup fees that you had with new clients, and could you obviously give us a quick run through of what that looks like?
Yeah, so at the moment, we since we've delayed a lot of the revenue that we're going to be generating for January, we have a lot of the setup fees set in place. So in January, we're looking at about $24,000 set up. That's basic setup fee, and then from then onwards, we're going to be generating substantial recurring revenue through the retainers. So at the moment, we're not generating anything substantial, because we've been putting a lot more of our focus into developing all of the systems, putting all of them in place for our launch next year in Jan. But I think especially within the systems that I've built, we don't have very high operational costs. So all of my staff, I have 5 staff, and they're all on. I have 5 employees, and 4 of them are devs. One's a project manager, and they're all on a commission basis. So I don't pay them any salaries. And then through a lot of the leveraging of the agencies and marketing agencies that we've been partnering with, who've been bringing in all the leads, our cost of acquiring new customers is zero. So I don't have any salary expenses. I don't have any expenses in acquiring new customers. So thankfully, in the meantime, I've been able to keep my costs relatively low. And that's just going to help me next year. When we start rolling out all of our strategies and we do the full launch, that's when we're seriously going to see the agency blow up. I was actually having a conversation with Red. A lot of people in the agency would know him as Battle Scar. But we've been hopping on a few calls, and we even met up last week in Cape Town. And we sort of just been strategizing exactly how we're going to go about the process next year. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot to look forward to.
Killing it, man, killing it. Yeah, it's you say there's nothing substantial, and you're kind of prolonging the ongoing monthly retainers. But the fact that you say 24K in pretty much your first few months, right, of setup fees.
Yeah.
Like that's incredible. And the fact that this is your first entrance point into business should give you so much confidence in yourself as someone who can actually execute and plan. Well, sorry, let's rephrase that. Who can plan and then execute. You've done such a good job at that. And like, without blowing smoke up your ass is how we say it in the UK. Like I have to take my hat off to you. Like it's been incredible to see. You're always taking notes in every single masterclass. You're always listening to people and asking the right questions, and then you actually execute. And I think, like, for me, that is probably the key reason why you have got to where you've gotten to. I know you say it's a lot about who you know and not what you know, but it does take a special type of someone to be able to hold their own in a conversation with these big companies. And I think you have that. Do you think that's fair, me saying that? Do you think that's something you would agree on?
Yeah, I think most definitely. It's definitely giving me a lot of confidence, especially because we've been sitting in a lot of meetings with the exco of some of these very major companies. Unfortunately, I can't name any of them. I think it's given me a lot of confidence because oftentimes I have to present to these people who sit at the very top of these high-end organizations, and it's I think most definitely just learning from everybody around you and applying that in your business. I think is definitely helped a lot with my motivations in terms of delivering the service and speaking to people who, I mean, when I first started speaking to some of these, some of like the CEOs of major companies or speaking to the COO, whoever they generally put me in, it was very nerve-wracking. But I think over time, you learn to become a little bit more confident. And especially if you just take all the learnings that you get and you apply them, it makes it much easier to actually present. I think presenting and selling is a very difficult skill initially. I think for a lot of agency owners within the network space are quite technical. So I think I think luckily enough for me, I have a sales and a marketing background that has helped me tremendously when onboarding clients.
You're very well articulated. You know, you can hold a conversation very well, and you pretty much answered the question I was going to ask, which do you think is the most important skill that you need to master and learn? And like you said, it's sales and being able to hold a conversation with these companies and actually be able to hold your own, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Going back to one thing that you mentioned, you've taken a less traveled route, should we say, towards the agency model, and it's something that we really preach as well, and it's what we do at our agency. Whereas you've actually gone and you've partnered with other businesses that will then bring you clients, right? Instead of going out and doing mass outreach and trying to create content online, you've actually created these strategic partnerships with other companies that are now funneling you in work, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Sorry to interrupt. I hope you're enjoying the interview so far. If you did want to get the same access of information that Michael has had that has helped him build his agency to the point of where it is today, then there is a link down below where you can join the network. Now, the network is only $79 per month, and that gives you access to an insane amount of knowledge and an insane amount of experience. And you get to speak to people just like Michael and understand what is working for them inside of their agency. This is by far the best investment that you can make if you're serious about building an AI automation agency in 2024. Was that something that came from the contacts that you had prior to setting up the agency, or is this still something that you've created for yourself and you've kind of found a smart way of doing it?
I think I've always, my number one focus in running an agency is to build high leverage systems. And so in every single day, and sometimes it's a little bit ridiculous, but with every task that I do and every system that we build within the company, we try and make it as high leverage as possible. And for those who don't know, if something is high leverage, it means you put small input in and get massive output. So it's like little effort that you put in, and then you get a lot in return. So I just applied that to my thinking around acquisition, because that's one thing that's typically in a new space for a lot of agency owners and for the AI industry. It's very difficult for people to get new customers because it's difficult to sell. A lot of people are habituated around, they either fear the word AI in your marketing campaigns, or they're so habituated around it because it's such a buzzword. A lot of people tend to ignore it. So it's quite difficult to sell. So I thought to myself, what would be the most effective way for me to get clients, and in doing the most little effort as possible. So I started out with an advertising agency who niched in the e-commerce space. So we wanted to build e-commerce bots. So what I did, and instead of going out and reaching out to 100 e-commerce companies and e-commerce stores, I looked for an advertising agency that already serves that market. So they already have an established audience in the e-commerce space. So I thought that if I were to go directly to them, instead of making 100 calls to 100 e-commerce stores, I make 100 calls to 100 ad agencies who specifically niche in the e-commerce space. So, and what you do, I think what makes it much easier for me is when you go directly to the customer, directly to an e-commerce store, you're actually selling them. You want them to buy something. Whereas if you go to an agency, you're actually not getting them to buy anything. It's a much easier sell because instead of them having to pay you anything, you're actually partnering with them, and you're not only benefiting, but the agency, the marketing agency, is benefiting, and the client is benefiting. So what I did in my case is I just targeted an advertising agency that niche down in e-commerce, and once I presented my offer to them, they were on board and they said, okay, cool, they're gonna improve our service offering. So they gave us all of their clients. So since we were leveraging their client base, all they had to do was bring all of their clients to us, and we were just going to do all the fulfillment for them. That's what we did in our offer. Is that we just try to provide as much value to the agency, and instead of selling them on a particular product that they had to buy, we just sold them on a partnership that we could find a mutual benefit. So it's in their best interest to partner with us. That's sort of been the main strategy. And I took that from what I learned from the advertising agency, and I took that across multiple different industries, such as insurance, finance and banking, and one of our other ones is in schools. So they build a lot of systems and processes for schools. So that's been what our high leverage, the way that we've done high leverage in terms of acquisition, is instead of going door to door to every single customer, we just go to people who already have the network that we're trying to serve. We partner with them, make it mutually beneficial between us, them, and the customer, and then we build our services off of them. So we don't have to worry about bringing in clients every single month. That's their job, and they have a higher incentive of bringing those clients every month because they benefit without doing any extra effort.
Super smart. It is literally the agency hack. Yeah, you've killed it there. In terms, a couple of questions around that then. So you've obviously said that you've moved out into other industries and different fields, different types of agencies now, right, as different partners. What did that process look like? Is that something that you did through your warm network, or did you kind of say, okay, look, it's working for the e-com guys, how can we now restructure this and let's go and find different industries that we can then sell it into? You know, were they in your connections, or was it something you did outreach for?
No, so the first one with the e-commerce, the ad agency for the e-commerce, they were a warm client. They're a friend of mine that ran an ad agency. And after that happened, I was like, okay, I need to find a way to replicate this. So I found another one who was within my warm network. They were in the insurance space. But where I got so I've got 5 agencies at the moment who are bringing in leads for us. And 3 of them actually came through cold outreach and cold calls. So it hasn't all been warm. So there's ways that even if you don't know people, there are ways of bringing these people on. It's all about the way that you structure the offer.
Can we dive into that? I mean, I'm super curious to hear what sort of offer and structure you have with these partners. You know, is it a rev share model or a sort of cost per result? Like, how does it look?
So it's different. We've done it differently for different clients. So it can work in many different ways. So you can do a revenue share, or what you can do is you can set a standard price that you charge per client that you build an agent for, and then they mark up on that price.
So you're basically going in, you're giving them all of the fuel, all of the structure that they need to be able to offer what an AI automation agency can offer without them having to do any of the work, without them having to worry about getting onto their clients and sending it in. Do you handle the calls between yourself and their clients, or is it kind of done through the initial agency?
No, we often hop onto the calls with the clients. So say we have like a Zoom call. I will hop on a call there as well. So when they ask a lot of the technical questions, I'm able to answer, because a lot of the time the agencies, they don't really know how to sell the AI. So oftentimes when we try and onboard clients, but it's normally quite an easy sell, because those clients that we're selling to are already warm towards our agency. They've already bought products from the agency before, or they've already paid for their services. So it's just an additional service offering that we will provide them that will increase their customer satisfaction. So it's usually quite an easy sell. But most of the time I'm hopping on the calls, at least for the time being. Maybe when we scale, I might not be able to hop on every single meeting, but that's how we're doing it in the meantime.
In terms of the service delivery, is it pretty much the same across the board with all the different clients you're working with, or have you kind of broadened that a little bit? Can you give us a run through of what it is you're actually delivering?
So it's different for every single client. We are building out different solutions for different clients. Most of the time, we're just building agents. So we sort of productized, what you would build on VoiceFlow or WordPress. We've just productized that service, and we get them to sell it as additional service offering. So for example, a lot of say for like a marketing agency. A lot of their clients, they build landing pages. So it's not just, they don't just go directly from the ad to the website. Sometimes there's a landing page with a VSL on it. So we sell a lot of their clients a lead generation bot. And then we have a customer support bot on the website that also is like a sales bot. So depending on whatever products they have, it will recommend products for them and it will collect reviews, that sort of thing. But then on the landing page, for a lot of the people who don't eventually, who click on the ad and go to the landing page, but then eventually click off, a lot of them we capture through the lead generation bot. That just takes their name and their email, and then the product that they were looking for, a specific service, and then specific questions that they ask. And then we use that in a retargeting campaign, either through instantly sending out emails to them, or we directly message them through ManyChat.
Nice, man. So you're starting to build a full system behind the scenes. It starts off at a chatbot and then eventually explodes into this full lead gen and lead management system, which you're starting to roll out. That's good to hear. What are the goals? June next year, we've got a fresh year just on the horizon. What's it looking like for you guys? Because I know January is going to be crazy busy. Where do you want to be in 6 months' time?
Yeah, I think we're going to learn a lot in that January, in that first month, onboarding all the clients, learning how to funnel a lot of the leads that we bring through the agencies. Yeah. Sending them specifically to other agencies. But yeah, I think over the next few months, we're just going to focus a lot more, since we're not particularly focusing on generating the leads. So we're getting the other agencies to supply the leads, and then we're getting the AI agencies from the network to do all the fulfillment. Mm-hmm. So we're not necessarily actually doing much of the work. We're just sort of going to be facilitating the system, and we're going to make sure that it's running efficiently. So I think after January, we're going to focus on scaling that system. So it would be finding more agencies in more industries, and then also trying to scale the marketing agencies and people who we partner with. Try to scale that up as much as possible. So hopefully my goal, it's a little bit ambitious, but to have about 100 marketing agencies by June.
Nice.
Funneling in bringing in all the leads, and then just outsourcing them within the network.
Well, there you go. Are you only focused on working with local agencies right now, or have you gone internationally?
No, we've gone international.
Okay, brilliant.
So we do local and international.
Sweet. And if you could give any piece of advice for someone that is wanting to follow this strategy, they want to partner up with an agency and do something similar to you, what would be the easiest way for them to get in touch, do you think? Because obviously you said you've done cold calls, you've done cold emails. Have you seen one works better than the other? And is there any just in general core lessons that you have learned over the last few months that would help save them the scars?
So are you asking in terms of how they would acquire some of these agencies to generate leads for them?
How can these guys get in touch with these agency owners? Where have you found these agencies? Has it been through lead scraping, or do you find them on LinkedIn? What does it look like?
Yeah, often we do email campaigns, so cold email campaigns, LinkedIn as well. But we have found so far that the most effective way has been cold calls. So calling them directly and speaking to them, either like a marketing manager. But I think it's essentially around how you structure the offer. So there's normally three things that we include in our offer when we're speaking to these agencies. So the first one is that we plan on partnering with them, first of all. So we're not selling them anything, because usually when you try to sell someone something, they immediately drop off the call. So we're not trying to sell them anything. We're trying to partner with them, and we're trying to improve their service offering and to their clients. So we talk about the services that we can provide their clients in whatever niche it may be. So there's typically three things that we offer. So one is that we're going to increase their service offering, which is going to increase their customer satisfaction, which often decreases churn. So it's specifically for marketing agencies. They have a massive problem because they are commodity. If you're not top of the industry, you usually lose as many customers as you have to bring on. So what we do is when we offer our AI services as theirs, they can actually differentiate themselves from the market, from the competition, by offering an additional service offering. And since it's run on a retainer base, we actually significantly reduce their churn rate. And so we increase. And the last one is we increase their profits by them doing no extra work on their part. So the three is that we increase their service offering. Two is that we make them more money without them having to do any extra effort. All they have to do is drive in the leads, and from then on, we handle their clients. So we actually generate them more profit without them having to do any extra work. And three, we differentiate them from the market. So I use an example that maybe so just to give people a little bit of an idea to drive the idea home. So say if we were building staff training agents. And we wanted to sell staff training agents to other businesses because, the costs of training staff is very, very expensive. They often have to go off to a facility to learn and train, which with the way that our mind works with association, if we actually learn in another area, we are 80% likely to retain that information. Then if we were to actually learn that information in the same environment that we actually conduct the work in. So what you can actually do is instead of going door to door to door and trying to speak to a whole bunch of companies and being like, okay, cool. Instead of you going and training all of your staff, we'll just build you one agent that can do all of it for you. And then that's not the way that you want to go about it. So that's one way I think a lot of people do in the agency space. But if you start to use this high leverage opportunity, you can actually go to a training company. So a training company already has an established audience of hundreds of clients that they build courses for, that they train up. So what you can do for them is you can go to them and be like, look, you guys can't be in every single company at once. If they have 100 different clients, they won't be able to be everywhere at once. So what they can do is when they're not training at a specific company, you can offer your sales training or whatever, your training agent, to them, and you can build it around their processes and their courses. And so that when the company is not there, their staff can actually ask questions and get responses in real time. And so it's another additional way for them to generate some revenue. So if I were to target a company that trains a lot of other companies, I would just tell them, I say, look, we can build you these staff training agents. And so that when you are not with your clients, we can still generate you a residual income every single month. And you can provide it to all of your clients. It's an additional revenue generating model that they can implement. So instead of having to go door to door and speak to multiple different companies, you just go to the clients or the company that is already servicing your target audience, and then you try and establish a partnership with them. And then once you do that, you can actually, they will constantly bring you a flow of leads without you having to constantly sell all the time.
That sounds like quite a confusing process for someone that's new and just getting started out. But the reality is, it really isn't, right? Like, if you take a step back and rewind this and re-listen to what Michael just said and take notes as well, that is literally the game plan. That is how it works. The fact that you've learned that so quickly is fascinating to me, mate. It scares me almost. I don't know where you're going to be in 6 months to a year. It's pretty crazy. What do you think of the AI model as a whole? Because like, if you look at Google Trends, right?
2 months ago, it was the model of the year. Everyone's like, let's go and start an AI automation agency. For you, do you still think it's got crazy amount of legs? Because there's a lot of naysayers out there that are like, this model isn't going to last. This is something that's going to get washed out. What do you think?
Yeah, I think if you're keeping up with the trends, OpenAI is coming up with something every couple of months that seriously changes the way that we have to operate as agency owners. So I think if you were in the AI agency space, and I think it's very new, we've only been in it for a month, and there's actually 99% of the world hasn't adopted it. So 92% of Fortune 500 companies have. And I think going forward in 2024, it's going to be a lot more adopted, especially with Microsoft building a lot of AI services. And I just see that as an extra opportunity for us to increase our service offering. You can just add it to our suite of offerings, to whatever Microsoft ends up building or whatever comes up next for OpenAI. But I think in 2023 was quite a hectic year, and AI came in and everybody's had quite a lot of fear around it. But I think next year and the years following, there's going to be a lot more companies who are adopting it, because a lot of the companies who have started adopting it have seen exponential results. They've seen how much it can actually enhance their business. And I think for a lot of people who think that the AI agency model is going to fade away is quite a limited mindset, because there's literally millions upon millions of companies out there who will need help to implement AI into their companies in order to stay ahead of the competition. I mean, you go back 10 years and a lot of people didn't believe in digital marketing agencies. And then a lot of people stayed with traditional marketing, and a lot of them fell behind and eventually went bankrupt. And it's just it's staying on top of the trend, because AI is here whether we like it or not. It's a massive wave that's coming. You can either run away from the wave or you can grab a surfboard. And I think the AI agencies act as the surfboard. They're actually supposed to be there as consultants to guide companies into implementing this, because even if the accessibility of AI gets better and better over time, there is still a learning curve that companies have to go through. It's like ads. Anyone can run ads. You can watch a 10-minute video on YouTube and you can learn how to run ads. But there's a learning curve that goes inside of it. And that's why I think the AI agency model is still very, very effective. And over the next few years, a lot of people are going to start adopting it. So I actually think even more so than it was in 2023, even more so people should be jumping onto the AI train, because I think a lot of companies are going to start adopting it. It's going to become standardized, just like digital marketing became.
Agreed. You look at the likes of OpenAI's Whisper and Vision, and just like the potential of those APIs that you could tie into different solutions is just ridiculous. And we haven't even seen the true effect of what that looks like yet. And I speak to a lot of people, a lot of friends that are working for big consultancy firms here in London, and it's like, okay, they are starting to roll out AI services, but they're not rolling it out at 2, 3, 5K for a custom platform or a chatbot. They're rolling out for hundreds of thousands of pounds to these massive companies that are getting something custom built around them. And it's like, we haven't even seen this at a smaller scale yet. We are literally the pioneers of that, and we're the only ones doing it. There isn't mass agencies out there that are doing millions and millions and millions that are building these SME sort of custom solutions, and it's insane. For us, a big focus is obviously going into SaaS and productizing different solutions that we do end up building, and then seeing how we can then create sort of these mini SaaS products off of these different solutions that we end up creating for our clients. Is that something that you're looking to get involved in as well?
Yeah, I'm sure. I think that's a point that we're going to get to. I think we have quite a bit of work on our hands already, but I think we're going to get to the point where we start to productize. We build an entire software or application that we can sell on to many people. But I think our focus at the moment over the next 6 months is probably going to be a lot more focused on funneling all of these leads and outsourcing it to the agencies and growing the company.
Like you said, you're what is it, 6 weeks in, 7 weeks in?
Yeah, what, since
you started?
Oh yeah, so it's since I started this new model, we've only been in it about 6 months. But I've been in the AI agency space for about 3 months. But the network has significantly accelerated that progress.
The last few questions I have for you is one that I really want to know is, you mentioned about the network being super helpful for you and sort of an integral part of you being able to sculpt your agency moving forward. What would you say to someone who is on the fence about joining a community like the network, or taking the leap and investing in some sort of education when it comes to building a business online?
I think some of the biggest value adds that you get through the network is not only the masterclasses and that itself. I mean, we have masterclasses and we speak about it all the time. And you hop onto multiple masterclasses and you learn exponentially. Everything is also recorded. So I think for a lot of new people who are coming into the agency space, there is a lot of knowledge that they can learn through what already the network is providing. But I think the biggest value add that I've found through the network is the fact that it's mainly just the group chats. So people can go into the group and just say that they have a problem. And there's about 6 people who are always like willing to help. I've had a lot of people when I've struggled in particular areas, they've hopped on calls with me and they've sort of walked me through it or walked my staff through it, which has been really, really cool to see. There's just a lot. There's quite a family feel within the network. There's a lot of people, and I know that I'm providing a lot of value to people within the network, but it's nice to see that reciprocated. And there's a lot of people out there that are willing to help you and grow your agencies, because if you just build that rapport with everybody within the agency space and you find as many mentors as you can in multiple different areas, you can start to learn so much faster than doing it on your own. I mean, it's completely changed. When I was doing everything on my own and I was watching YouTube videos and I was trying to use all the voice flow tutorials and I was trying to build everything out and constantly coming up with new ideas. Whereas when I'm on the network and I read it every single day, there's always people who are stimulating new thoughts and ideas in my head. They've seen something on the news, or there's a new software that has come out, or there's a new idea or strategy, and hopping on a call with a lot of these people who are very willing to help. I think it just provides an incredible amount of value, and it's just helped my agency scale to the point that it is now. I think it would have taken about another year had I done it completely on my own. I think it's you can accelerate your learning so much faster by a network. And so for anybody who is considering starting up an AI agency, joining a network, a community of people who are already doing what you are set out to do, who are already achieving what you want to achieve, is probably the number one way to go.
Couldn't have said it better myself. You absolutely killed it. Every single time I ask you a question, I just sit here in amazement and listen to what you have to say, because for someone your age, man, you're so fucking smart. And you're going to go very, very far with this model. It's been a pleasure working alongside you, mate, honestly.
No, Liam, the pleasure's all mine, man. No, thank you so much for having me on here.
No, you're more than welcome. And I'm definitely going to have to come down South Africa soon, because with Rita and yourself, seeing you guys meeting up it's got me jealous. So I'm going to have to come down, hang out with the boys.
Yeah, most definitely. We'll go ride the lions.
Done, yes. Sounds good. Any parting words, mate? Do you want to send anyone to a YouTube channel or a platform where they can find out more about you?
All right. If anybody wants to find a little bit more about what we're doing, our website is called cloudbreakai.com. You can just hop on there. My email is on there. You can just pop me a message and you can chat to me, or you can join the Discord and you can message me. Say my name is Michael Martin. And you can just outreach to me there and you can speak to me. I'll be more than happy to help.
Legend. Michael, thanks again, mate. I really, really appreciate your time. And absolutely killed it over these last few months. 2024 is yours for sure, mate. It's going to be scary how well you do.
Well, let's see when we have this conversation in a year's time. Let's see where we've got.
That's it. Let's see. All right, bud. I'll let you go.
Cheers, Liam.
Cheers.
Cheers, man. Bye.